and welcome everybody to our open day session today. This session is dedicated to Oxbridge and research pathways, and I'm joined here today by some colleagues and alumni as well. Before we get started, I just want to quickly check with everyone who's joined us today if you can see us and hear us okay. If you could just use your raise hand button at the bottom of your screen to let us know that you can hear us all okay. If everybody just says hi. Okay, lovely. Yes, I can see lots of raised hands here. And can you hear us all okay as well? If you could just raise your hand one more time. Excellent. Thanks very much. That's wonderful. So I'm pleased to be joined here by Karina, who is our manager for our honours programme. I'm also joined by Joe Wefritz, who is one of our specialist teachers at the college, and also Nicole, who is here to answer any questions that you have. I'm also pleased to be joined here by Ameera, one of our alumni, who is currently right at Oxford, who will be answering some questions and sharing some of her experiences with us at the end of the session. Just to let you all know, the chat function isn't available for you to use for this session. However, we do have a Q&A button there that you can use to ask any questions that you have, and Nicole and the team will be here to answer those questions for you. Lastly, on our website, if you'd like some more detailed course information and advice, we do have lots of videos on our website for various different subjects that we offer. So you can go and have a look at those Q&A course information videos after the session. So what I'm going to do, I'll hand over to Joe to talk to you a bit more. I'm just going to quickly share my screen, just bear with me. Okay, so over to you, Joe.
Okay, hi, hello everybody, I'm Joe. I'm curriculum team lead for science, and I'm also a learning coach. So I've been involved in the honours programme for a couple of years now, mainly to try and support the medical pathways, and some of you may have seen me already in the medicine section. So why should we study at NewVIc? Well, NewVic's got a great reputation for extracurricular activities. It's got value added. We're really good at, as Karen told us earlier, turning C's into B's and B's into A's and A's into A stars. We've got a great work experience team that will help you with some of the work experience that you might need for some of these pathways that you want to go into. We do the next slide. Brilliant. Yeah. Okay, so general entry requirements. Well, you're here on the honours programme, so we are looking at very high GCSE scores if you're going to make it onto the honours programme and be involved in some of the Oxbridge or medicine, dentistry, pharmacy career pathways. So although it says that A-levels, the courses require a minimum of 5 GCSEs, grades 9 to 5, really for honours, you are looking at 7 and above in most of your GCSEs. And you need good grades in English and maths for these types of university courses as well. So we are really looking for 7s, 6 minimum in those 2 GCSEs. So we've got, if we just have a look at some of these pathways here, these are potential study routes. So for example, you might do, and I'm going to focus on the A-level ones here because we are thinking of honours here. You might look at combinations such as chemistry, mathematics and biology to do chemistry, biology, chemistry and psychology for, say, forensic or archaeological sciences, biology, chemistry and maths for things like molecular biology, biophysics and biochemistry, chemistry, biology and mathematics, pharmacology, toxicology and pharmacy. And I will just add in, have we got the medical one now? There should be another slide. Thank you. Right, so what have we got there? We've got there geology, physics, physical, geographical sciences and civil engineering. And though you might do things like geography, geology, mathematics, we don't actually offer geology, so you might perhaps pop history or biology in there. Mathematics, physics, chemistry. If you want to study physics, you must have an A-level in physics, a very hard subject. physical, geographical sciences, geography, biology, mathematics. For something that's civil engineering, we want mathematics, physics, and chemistry. I just want to add in, I'm hoping that the medical slide is coming up, but if you're looking at things like, no, we're on, I just pop in the medicine there, because for things like medicine, pharmacy, dentistry, which I know a lot of you are interested, you want biology, chemistry, and maths or physics, definitely chemistry, and you do need 3 A's. So we've got some other routes that have come up there. So these are perhaps more humanities routes now. So you might want to go into politics, in which case you might choose A-levels in government and politics, history and English literature. You might want to go into a history degree, and a good combination there is history, English literature, or government and politics. We've also got, some people might want to go into something like archaeology or classics, and we've got a combination there of history, English literature, and doing some sort of studies on classics, which NewVic is going to be offering, and I'm sure you will hear a little bit more about later on. Okay, I think from that point, thank you very much for listening to me, and I'll hand over to Karina to tell you about the honours programme.
Thanks, Jo. I don't think I'm able to move the slide, so are you able to do that for me?
I can do, Karina. Yeah, just let me know when you want me to move on. And
lovely, thank you. Thanks everybody for coming along today. It's lovely to meet all of you virtually. So I'm the manager. My name's Karina Ansell, and I'm the manager for the honours programme for the more able students at NewVic. And just a word here that this is also open, obviously, to vocational students. High performing vocational students, as well as to A-level students. And just a note on careers as well, if you're thinking about going into humanities fields, I know there's sometimes a concern about the kind of jobs that you can go into afterwards, and they're not just limited to things like kind of history, classics, archaeology. You can also go into lots of different fields like law, journalism, business degree, business careers. There's all kinds of fields that you can go into from those subjects. So in terms of entry into the honours programme, we ask students to have an average GCSE score of 6.5, which basically equates to mainly A's, or the equivalent of A's and A stars at GCSE, so the higher ends of the GCSE. That, however, that doesn't mean that you can't apply to become onto the programme at a later stage if you're performing particularly well during the year, and if your teacher or tutor supports your entry onto the programme as well. So there are various entry points through the year. And our basic mission really on the honours programme is to support your applications to research intensive universities, or going into careers or apprenticeships if that's what you're interested in doing. Thanks, Pearl. So we do a lot of work in the honours programme on the Wednesday afternoons when you will be off timetable from your main A-level or vocational programme. We run a series of 1-hour sessions that take place on the Wednesday afternoon, and some of those are about developing your academic skill. So we do things like critical thinking workshops, which help you with your admissions tests. But we also do a lot of things like we've set up this year, like reading and discussion groups and in different subject areas to get you reading and thinking outside of your curriculum area, and to get you really kind of extending your knowledge and feeling confident in terms of speaking in a kind of seminar or university style environment. Alongside the kind of development of your academic skills, we also do a lot of work in terms of preparing you for your application. So we do lots of personal statement workshops. Personal statements are where you sell yourself to the university you're applying to and kind of explain what makes you such a good candidate. And really the key to this is that the universities that you will be applying to are not ones that just want you to have the top grades. They're ones that want you to demonstrate that you're doing things outside of the curriculum. And that's what part of the honours programme aim is to do. So we give lots of support in terms of writing that personal statement. We also give you lots of supports with the preparation for admissions tests. So we do critical thinking workshops, we do admissions test papers with you, which we give you feedback for. And we also do interview sessions with you as well, which places like Eton and Oxford and tutors at Oxford and Cambridge also support us with as well. And we guarantee that you have at least 2 mock interviews with detailed feedback if you are going to have an interview at a Russell Group university. And as I've been to studied at both Oxford and Cambridge and kind of have an insight into both of those universities, if anybody is thinking about making applications to those universities, then I can give some detailed advice and guidance in terms of colleges and applications there as well. Next, please, panel.
And Karina, with these types of sessions, are they usually run in the second year, or is this something that students will get from day one?
Yeah, so it goes through both of the 2 years. So the first year we kind of concentrate more on development of academic skills and reading around the subject. But towards the end of the first year, it's all about preparing you for your university application. And that goes through into the second year when you'll be submitting your university application. And in the final year, we do things around the transition to university. So supporting you to develop the skills necessary to be successful at university level.
Wow, that's
amazing. They take place on the Wednesday afternoon.
Right, okay, yeah.
So generic advice, and I'm going to run through this quite quickly because there are open day videos from the October open day which tells you more about these programs. But we do encourage students to take advantage of a huge wealth of online learning materials, which we explore with you during the honours sessions. And I've just given an example of some of the kind of online courses that are available to you for independent study. And next, please. Thank you. And we also have a really extensive range of super curricular programs. And this is probably more extensive than you'll find at most other colleges. And these are programs that are unique to NewVic. They're not ones that are open for all students across the country to apply to. They're ones that we have actually founded as a college in partnership with these universities. And again, you'll find more information about these on the open day videos and the prospectus. But just to highlight a few of these, we have our Wadham programme with Oxford University, where we do an original archive research project about Charlie Hutchison, who was the first Black British volunteer in the Spanish Civil War. And so Oxford professors help us to research into the kind of personal and social history. And then we also have the King's Classical Reach programme. So for those of you who are interested in going into kind of classics or ancient history, we do a lot of work with King's College, who deliver a series of seminars for NewVic students on the ancient world. And when we eventually start getting back to normal, hopefully we'll be able to take you to lots of exciting places related to that in London and also to King's College as well. And alongside King's College, we also run a history, memory and identity programme, which is for anybody who's kind of interested in exploring how history is created and how individuals and events are remembered. These aren't just for history students or humanities students, they're open to anybody who's got a curiosity about these kind of topic areas and about the world that you live in. And for STEM students, we run the Brilliant Club Scholars programme, which allows you to work with a PhD student on a specific subject related to science and technology. And you have tutorials, and you also write a research paper for this one. And we've also recently this year founded the NewVic African Studies Centre. So here we do lots of talks and seminars on literature, politics, history, and lots of world leading scholars come on to talk to us as part of this programme. And we also have partnerships with Queen Mary and the University of Law for those people who are interested in going into legal careers. So we do lots of workshops and kind of practical activities with them as well. And finally, we have like an opportunity for you to do an extended project qualification. And this is kind of worth half of an A-level. And you'll have an hour session every week with an individual supervisor. And this is a topic of your choice that you'll either do a 5,000 word essay on, or you'll do a practical report or project alongside a 1,000 word written report. So that's your opportunity to demonstrate to universities that you're enthusiastic and you're motivated by your subject. And universities really like to see students who are able to show that they have the research skills to be successful at university. So there's tons of stuff going on. You can join one of them, you can join all of them. You make an application for each of these, and then we assess your applications. But these all take place on the Wednesday afternoon as well.
And Karina, it is fair to say that students do have an opportunity to visit some of these universities, but do we also get some professors that come into the college and speak directly with the students as well?
It's kind of a mix. Sometimes we go to the universities. We've got a lot of universities that come into us, not just the ones that are listed here, but we have speakers coming from quite a few of the Russell Group universities, including Cambridge. We have Queen Mary's coming in quite regularly. There's lots of opportunities to be involved in workshops at NewVic too.
Brilliant. And we've got a quick question here that's just come through. Would I be able to do EPQ alongside 4 A levels?
Generally, we don't recommend that you would do 4 plus an EPQ, because I think it would just be too time intensive. And I think that the general advice to most Russell Group universities is that you do 3 A levels and you do them really well and get really top results in them. And I think most universities would actually probably prefer you to do an EPQ in a subject that might be related to what you want to do at university, rather than you take 4 A levels, unless the 4 A levels that you need specifically to kind of get into the course that you're looking to do. So my recommendation for you would be to look at 3 A levels plus an EPQ.
Thanks for that, Karina. And of course, we're joined here today by Ameera as well. So Ameera, are you there?
Oh, yeah. Can you hear me?
We can, yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
Okay.
So thank you, Ameera, for joining us. And Karina, I'll let you introduce Ameera and tell us a bit about Ameera's journey with NewVic.
Oh yeah, okay. So Ameera's a wonderful student, and she'll tell you a little bit more about her background. But Ameera, when she originally came to NewVic, and she started her A-level program, I think originally she started on a science program, but then transferred across to humanities because she was kind of really interested in kind of going into a humanities field, and after a talk with King's College decided that maybe this was the route that she wanted to go down. And Ameera was a fantastic student, worked really hard the whole 2 years she was here, then went on to do a history degree at Oxford, and she's now in her 2nd year studying at Mansfield College in Oxford. And so thank you very much, Ameera, for coming in to talk to us today.
You're welcome, Karina.
Your experience at NewVic and also
and we're also joined here by Justyna as well, who will be talking with us a bit later on. Thank you, Justyna, for joining us as well. So yeah, over to you, Ameera.
Oh, right. Like Karina said, actually, I started on sciences as well. And I think it was because I scored better at my GCSEs in sciences than I did at humanities. And I thought, well, the way to go really is sciences. And it was one thing that I did, not because I was interested in it, but because I'd done well in it, at it. And anyway, I went on to do it, and I honestly did miserably in my first year because I wasn't interested in it. And one day I had a chat with Nasli, who works with Karina as a history teacher as well. And we spoke about interest, and I mean, I think it was when Trump was actually elected, I think, or just before, and we had this amazing chat about politics and history, and she said, well, why don't you do that? And I thought maybe I should. So I jumped into that, and I really liked it. So I did government and politics, history, and English literature. And it's kind of like the perfect choice for history if you go on to study it. And I enjoyed the history more than I did the other 2 subjects. So I joined the Wadham project as well, and the program that Karina's a part of. And I really, really liked it, to sum it up. And I think it really gives you an idea of what it is like to study history, what development is about, how to write your personal statements, which are things you're interested in, when you're doing your A-levels. And also, it also kind of really prepared me for university studies in a way, because we had these workshops, and, you asked earlier actually, but we had some professors come in or some students come in and they tell us about their experiences. And there's obviously nothing better than somebody telling you about how much they like something and why it's good. And, you know, you feel like, oh, maybe I can do this actually. And that's how I ended up doing that and studying history at Oxford. And I love it, really. It's informative. I think it's not quite, I don't want to say A-level history was basic, but you really do go into it, and you don't just study, you know, a century, you study over 2.5 millennia sometimes, and you do so many authors, and you don't just do history as in the way it affects people, or, you know, you don't just focus on sources and interests or genres according to history and, you know, the time period. You also focus on how others record history. So one of the things that I did last year, for example, and I'm still continuing to do, is historiography, which is the way in which people record history. And you don't just study the history, but you study the way in which people interpret history, which is also interesting. I mean, there's context and there's sources and there's rare books, you know, at the Bodleian, and it's all amazing and really great. So if you do want to do it, I think it's a great thing to do.
And how have you found Oxford, Ameera?
I was kind of intimidated at first, actually. I think I had the imposter syndrome at the beginning, where I felt like I didn't belong, because they put you into families when you enter Oxford. And my college brother is a member of Parliament's son. So it was really awkward. And I thought, gosh, I don't actually know anything about that world. And I had to have dinner with his family, Edward Lee, who's a complete conservative. I mean, he was one of the only few members of Parliament that actually voted against the LGBTQ Act back in 2014. So it was really awkward. But you know, putting politics aside, it was great. But you also meet all of these different people who aren't from your background, who aren't people that you could relate to or identify with. But then if you put those differences aside for identity and you focus on what you love and, you know, the subjects, then it's really entertaining and it's really lovely. And there's also societies, like I'm a part of the Feminist Society, and I created a film society as well at my college. So we get to do that on Thursday nights, albeit it being online now, but it's really fantastic. So you do have extra time to actually do things that you like as well. And it's not just work.
Thank you so much. So I just wanted to give just a bit of time for Justyna to come in and
yeah, go ahead.
That was wonderful. And Justyna was also a student of ours. And going back some time, wasn't it, Justyna? I can't remember the exact year that you left NewVic. But Justyna was studying a range of humanities.
2011.
Was it? Oh wow. And then I just wanted to thank you so much, Justyna, for joining us, because we're actually starting an A-level classics again this year. So for those people who are interested, that might be something you want to look at later. And as part of the WADM programme that we run with Oxford, and the King's Classics programme we've been running, we have a student this year who's just been offered a place to study classics at Oxford University. And Justyna herself went on to Cambridge to study. So, Justyna, I'll hand over to you to say something about kind of classics and your experiences, if that's okay.
Sure. Thank you for having me. And yes, I did leave in 2011, so 10 years ago now. Seems like a long time. So I actually studied classical archaeology and ancient history because I was always more interested in like the material side of history. And I also took, not A-levels, I took history, philosophy, and classical civilization A-levels when I was at NewVic, which were all great. But yes, I was definitely more interested in like the material culture side of things, which is why I went into classical archaeology. But definitely studying that classic civilization A-level was the reason why I did that. And it was also the reason why I went to NewVic. Like, I didn't apply to any other colleges. I was like, no, I'm going there. They have classics. That's what I'm doing with my life now. Which my parents thought was foolish, but there you go. I think the biggest thing about my experience of NewVic was just they really didn't make assumptions about me. So one of the curious things about me is I have 4 GCSEs because of things. So I have a GCSE in maths, in English, in chemistry, and sociology, and that's it. And normally when you apply to a college with 4 GCSEs, they're like, no, stop it. What are you doing? What do you mean you want to take 3 essay heavy subjects? But I managed to talk the admissions person into it, and did brilliantly, because those were the things I wanted to do, and not necessarily the things I was good at, as Ameera was saying. So that was brilliant, and the teaching was brilliant. And then I went on to be in Oxford for 3 years, and then I actually went off to teach Classic Civ in a different college, and now I work in a museum, of all things. So yes. Anything else?
Thank you, Justyna. That was great for you to share your experience. And, you know, it's really interesting for students to actually see that there may be subjects that, you know, you might not feel as confident about, but something that you really want to study. I'm just going to quickly go and share my screen just to let some students know about the application. We've just got a minute left, so I'm just going to quickly go through that. So guys, you can apply online. Our application is available for you to apply online, and if you have any questions about the application or interviews or courses, any questions that you have, you can get in touch with us on advice@newvic.ac.uk. Interviews will be conducted over telephone, so we will inform you of your telephone interview. And we do have another session coming up straight after this on teaching and academia, and also new courses as well. So if you are interested in classical civilization A-level, please do join us for the next session. There'll be some more information on that as well. And that's all we have time for this session. But thank you so much to Ameera and Justyna for sharing your experiences. And thank you, Joe, Karina, and Nicole. And to all the students who've joined us today, we wish you all the best with your application and your research. And we really look forward to speaking to you soon. All right, everybody, take care. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.